Remember the Las Vegas dream? The promise of cheap buffets, complimentary drinks, and that electric thrill of a jackpot. That dream is dead. Now it's a waking nightmare of $50 resort fees, $25 parking charges, and pathetic watered-down cocktails that cost you more than a prime steak dinner. The Strip has become an exclusive playground, a gilded cage built only for the ultra-wealthy, forcing regular people to ask themselves, is this hollow charade even worth it anymore? The answer is a resounding no, and what I'm about to tell you will blow your mind. There are hidden gems across America that don't just rival the excitement of Vegas, they obliterate it, and for a fraction of the cost, with genuine friendliness and a soul that Vegas sold off decades ago. From forgotten river towns to breathtaking mountain escapes, I'm counting down 6 destinations that prove the real jackpot is escaping the Strip's corporate clutches. Kicking off at number 6, Laughlin. This is the desert's last bastion, its best kept secret. Picture this. You drive a mere 90 minutes south of the Vegas chaos and the garish neon glare mercifully fades, replaced by something infinitely calmer, more affordable, and shockingly more welcoming. This is Laughlin, Nevada, the defiant underdog, a casino town clinging proudly to the banks of the mighty Colorado River. While Las Vegas masterminds new, predatory ways to bleed you dry with hidden fees, Laughlin quietly offers the very soul Sin City is auctioned off. Genuinely affordable rooms, slots that actually pay out, and the simple dignity of stretching your dollar without feeling like you're being financially suffocated. But don't just take my word for it, let's expose the numbers. In the corporate wasteland of Las Vegas, the so-called average hotel room on the Strip will set you back a staggering $200 before they even start hitting you with taxes and fees. Then comes the insult, resort charges, a pure scam ranging from $40 to $55 a night, plus another $25 a day just to park your car. And just like that, your $200 deal has morphed into a $300 shakedown. Now, brace yourself. In Laughlin, the average room costs a mere $61 a night according to hard travel data. No, that is not a misprint. It is literally 1/3 the price of the Vegas grift, and it often comes with free parking, 0 resort fees, and yes, even complimentary breakfast buffets at the classic spots. Things Vegas considers ancient history. For retirees trying to survive on a fixed income, for the road trippers, for the snowbirds, this isn't just a good deal, it's a financial lifeline. It's game-changing. But the betrayal runs deeper than just room rates. The entire gambling experience is a fraud. In Vegas, the corporate behemoths have tightened their slots to an insulting degree and replaced fair 3-2 blackjack with the universally despised 6-5 payout, or even the ultimate sucker's bet, 000 roulette. But in Laughlin, a rebellion is quietly underway. Many casinos there still honor the player, offering better odds and lower minimums, creating a sanctuary for regular folks who are looking for a little entertainment, not a systematic fleecing. And consider the scale of it all. Laughlin is a community of about 11,000 people, a stark contrast to the soulless 650,000 person machine that is Las Vegas. Here, you are not just another data point, another faceless wallet to be drained in a corporate theme park. The dealers actually know your name. The bartender remembers what you drink. You feel a sense of community that Vegas ruthlessly purged from its system decades ago. But believe it or not, Laughlin's true ace in the hole isn't even on the casino floor. It's the majestic Colorado River. Just imagine it, slicing through the water on a jet ski, gliding down the river on a classic cruise, or casting a line at sunrise as the Arizona mountains ignite in a blaze of pink light. That is an experience, a real beauty that simply cannot be bought on the Strip, where the most scenic view you'll get is a 50-foot tall LED advertisement screaming at you from across the street. And it's this sanity that families are flocking to. You'll find fewer obnoxious bachelor parties and more welcoming RV parks. You'll find abundant, affordable dining, where a legendary prime rib special can still be had for under $15. I dare you, Just try to find that anywhere on the Strip. Now let's be brutally honest. Laughlin isn't perfect. The nightlife is a whisper compared to the Vegas roar. You won't find superstar DJs or pretentious Michelin-starred tasting menus. The buildings are older, and while fresh investment is slowly making its way in, it lacks that blinding, artificial spectacle. But listen closely, because that is precisely the point. Laughlin is for the people who have woken up, who are sick and tired of paying a premium for the Vegas illusion. What you get here is authentic, old-school Nevada. Affordable, genuinely friendly, and it's all set against the stunning backdrop of the river. And maybe, just maybe, that's why Laughlin is slowly but surely gaining ground, as Las Vegas continues to bleed its middle-class visitors dry. This is not some cheap substitute. It's a living monument to what Las Vegas once was, before the soul-crushing cancer of corporate greed metastasized. But if Laughlin is the ghost of Vegas past, what about a place that fuses that crucial affordability with the vibrant pulse of a major city, legendary music, and a world-class barbecue scene? Our next destination will do just that, and I guarantee you won't see it coming. Number 5, Kansas City, the Heartland's best-kept secret and its most underrated jackpot. What if I were to tell you that the undisputed best barbecue in the nation, a booming, vibrant art scene, and truly affordable living all converge in one incredible city that the tourist hordes foolishly ignore? Prepare to be enlightened. Welcome to Kansas City, a city defiantly straddling the Missouri-Kansas border. While Las Vegas desperately tries to gaslight you into believing a $30 cocktail and a $75 resort fee are normal, Kansas City offers you an experience that is actually authentic, human, and, let's not mince words, aggressively affordable. And we have to start with the cost of living, because this is where the sickening contrast with Las Vegas becomes impossible to ignore. The median home price has exploded, topping an unbelievable $430,000, locking out an entire generation of first-time buyers. And renting? It's a joke, with one bedroom siphoning off a soul-crushing $1,400 to $1,600 a month. Now look at Kansas City, where sanity prevails. The median home is about $280,000, a staggering 35% cheaper, and rents average a manageable $1,050 for a one-bedroom. What this means is that in Kansas City, middle-class families, young professionals, and even retirees haven't been completely abandoned. They can actually dare to dream of homeownership without utterly decimating their life savings. For anyone who's had enough of the precarious, overinflated Vegas housing bubble, Kansas City feels like a desperate gasp of sane, breathable air. But this isn't just about money. It's a deep cultural rot. The very soul of Vegas has become transactional, a relentless shakedown where you pay to enter, pay to park, and practically pay to breathe. Meanwhile, Kansas City still clings to the radical idea of community. Just dare to walk through the Crossroads Arts District on a First Friday, and you're met with local artists throwing open their studio doors, proudly showcasing their work. You'll find food trucks feeding the masses and raw, live jazz pouring out of historic brick warehouses. Now, hold that image and contrast it with the soulless manufactured Strip, where art is a $40 immersive experience and live music is just an excuse to slap you with a 2-drink minimum and a mountain of service fees. And speaking of real music, don't you dare dismiss Kansas City as just another flyover town. This place is a hallowed capital of American music, the legendary 18th and Vine District. This is the ground that birthed titans like Charlie Parker and Count Basie. You can still feel that raw energy pulsating in intimate clubs today, where a mere $10 cover grants you access to world-class talent. I dare you to find that kind of soul in Vegas, where they'll charge you $200 a ticket for some forgotten act. What's the difference? It's simple. Kansas City's nightlife is alive. It's breathing. It isn't a sterile corporate product. And then we have to talk about the food. Forget the grotesquely overpriced celebrity chef temples on the Strip. In Kansas City, barbecue is a religion, a sacred institution. We're talking about places like Joe's Kansas City Barbecue, and yes, the legendary joint located in a gas station, all the way to the hallowed halls of Arthur Bryant's. Here, you'll find burnt ends and ribs so divine that critics nationwide bow down, all for a price that won't leave you gasping for air. Just picture it, paying $15 for a plate overflowing with smoky perfection versus being fleeced for a $65 dry-aged steak in Vegas that has the audacity to come with a convenience surcharge. But the economic reality tells an even more damning story. Las Vegas is dangerously beholden to a single, notoriously volatile industry: hospitality and gaming. This crippling dependency leaves it utterly exposed to recessions and pandemics, a brutal lesson we all learned in 2020. Kansas City, on the other hand, has built a resilient, diversified economy anchored in the bedrock of healthcare, logistics, and technology. We're talking about corporate mainstays like Cerner, now absorbed by Oracle, Hallmark, and Garmin. These companies provide the kind of stable, long-term employment Vegas can only dream of, while its strategic central location solidifies its role as a critical hub for national shipping and transportation. This fundamental balance creates a far steadier local economy, free from the nauseating boom and bust chaos that defines Las Vegas. And then there's the infrastructure, a critical piece of the puzzle. Kansas City just unveiled a $1.5 billion state-of-the-art airport terminal in 2023, a gateway designed to welcome international visitors effortlessly. But get this, the city is even experimenting with free public transit. That's a concept so foreign it's laughable in car-choked Vegas, where a simple taxi ride from the airport to the Strip will mug you for $30 before you even think about tips and hidden surcharges. Mark my words, this isn't merely about convenience. It is a powerful statement about inclusivity and accessibility. Now, let's be clear, Kansas City is no utopia. The winters are brutally cold, unleashing snow and ice storms that would send a Vegas resident into a state of shock. And yes, the city grapples with its own pockets of poverty and crime. A problem particularly concentrated on its east side. But for so many, these are minor trade-offs when weighed against the relentless, soul-crushing nickel and diming of Las Vegas. Sure, you might have to shovel snow in January, but at least you aren't shoveling out $200 every single night for a hotel room that hits you with a mandatory Wi-Fi fee. And here's the final devastating blow. Visitors who actually make the journey to Kansas City discover something shocking. It feels real. More authentic than the plastic facade of Vegas. Instead of a hypnotic barrage of flashing lights engineered to pry open your wallet, you find actual neighborhoods where people know their neighbors, parks teeming with families, and stadiums where the local passion runs so deep they bleed red for the Chiefs and blue for the Royals. It's a genuine community, not a rented experience. And that profound sense of belonging is a currency that the corporatized, commodified shell of Las Vegas, a city that's become obscenely unaffordable, simply cannot offer anymore. So if Laughlin is just a dusty, nostalgic echo of old-school Nevada, then Kansas City represents something far more revolutionary, a complete and total redefinition of what value truly means. It serves as a stark warning that you don't need the blinding neon and the predatory slot machines to find excitement. All you need is authentic culture, genuine affordability, and a city that hasn't forgotten how to care about its own people. But what if you crave the high-stakes thrill, but are utterly disgusted by the soulless greed of Vegas? What if you demand real mountains, not concrete illusions? Brace yourselves, because that's precisely where this warning takes us next. We're plunging straight into the heart of Reno. At number 4, we find Reno, the so-called biggest little city, now staging the biggest, most shocking comeback. A city once cruelly mocked as Vegas's pathetic, smaller, and scrappier cousin. But beware, because Reno, Nevada has silently forged itself into a bastion of everything Vegas has tragically lost. It's become affordable, it's become approachable, and almost unbelievably forward-thinking. While it still carries the brand of the biggest little city in the world, Reno delivers the raw casino action that tourists desperately seek, but it's set against a staggering backdrop of real mountains, pristine lakes, and clean air. An experience that feels a universe away from the suffocating concrete desert of the Vegas Strip. But let's cut to the chase and talk about the cost. The first and most brutal warning. A mere weekend in Las Vegas will bleed your wallet dry faster than a rigged high-limit slot machine. Average nightly hotel rates on that cursed strip now hover between a sickening $200 to $220, and that's before they slap you with hidden fees, plus the outrageous resort charges of $40 to $55 a night, parking that extorts another $18 to $25, and food prices so inflated they compete with New York City. Now listen closely. In Reno, the average nightly hotel price plummets to a more sane $120 to $140, with countless properties offering the unheard of luxury of free parking and drastically lower resort fees, if any at all. For any traveler who hasn't completely lost their financial senses, that's a staggering hundreds of dollars rescued from the corporate clutches over a mere 3-day trip. But this isn't just about cheaper rooms. It's a desperate cry for a fundamental lifestyle shift. In the tragic theater of Las Vegas, the Strip is a tyrannical monster that devours everything. It's one long, suffocating corridor of neon lights, a carefully engineered trap designed to funnel you into spending every last cent you have. But Reno's casinos, like the Peppermill, the Atlantis, and the Grand Sierra, are strategically scattered, which prevents the city from feeling like a corporate theme park and allows it to breathe like a genuine community. You can still gamble, make no mistake, but then you can actually step outside and escape into a world of local breweries, authentic coffee shops, and vibrant art murals in the Midtown District. A walkable, living neighborhood that has exploded with real small businesses. Economically, the chasm widens. Reno has fortified its future in ways Vegas has arrogantly refused to. While that so-called Sin City remains dangerously dependent on the volatile whims of gaming and entertainment, Reno has masterfully lured in the titans of tech and logistics. Tesla's monumental gigafactory looming just outside the city now anchors a formidable high-tech corridor that boasts the likes of Google, Apple, and Panasonic. This seismic shift creates high-paying, stable careers, acting as a beacon for new residents fleeing the financial ruin of California's Bay Area. Now, dare to compare that with the grim reality of Vegas, where job growth is a cruel mirage, often seasonal, insultingly low wage, and chained to the unpredictable cycles of conventions and tourism. Reno's stunning transformation means the city won't shatter into a million pieces when the next economic downturn inevitably hits. And then we come to the most damning indictment of all, the environment. Literally. Reno rests at the sacred foot of the Sierra Nevada mountains, a mere 45 minutes from the breathtaking shores of Lake Tahoe. Undeniably one of the most stunning alpine lakes on this planet. Here, you can plunge into the casino's darkness by night and then ascend into the brilliant white of the ski slopes by day. Or hike real trails with soul-stirring panoramic views instead of staring up at a pathetic painted digital ceiling pretending to be the sky inside the Venetian. Vegas can boast about its fraudulent fountains and plastic indoor canals all it wants, but Reno delivers the one thing Vegas can't manufacture: reality. Real snow-capped peaks, ancient pine forests, and pristine, crystal-clear waters. For a growing number of people, that's not just some minor perk. It is the final, non-negotiable deciding factor. But let's not be naive. Reno is not without its scars. Parts of its downtown are still fighting a grim battle with vacancy and homelessness. And in a cautionary twist, like so many Western cities, its housing costs have dangerously inflated as the Californian exodus floods in. The median home price in Reno has now skyrocketed to around $525,000, a figure that is, shockingly, even higher than Vegas. This makes the dream of homeownership a brutal challenge, though rents, for now, remain mercifully lower than in the Strip's soulless corridor. But here is the critical difference. In Reno, you are paying for a life, a real existence that balances the thrill of the casino with the majesty of outdoor adventure. A delicate, essential balance that Las Vegas is utterly incapable of providing. Culturally, Reno champions a raw grassroots energy that Vegas stamped out long ago. The city is the proud host of Hot August Night, a colossal, classic car spectacle, and the world-renowned, death-defying Reno Air Races. It also serves as the critical gateway to Burning Man, infusing the entire city with an unpredictable, eclectic, and wildly creative spirit. Oh, Vegas has its empty spectacle, to be sure, but Reno possesses something far more precious: authenticity. It has events that feel born from the community itself, not coldly staged by faceless billion-dollar corporations. The verdict is in. Reno is the damning proof that Las Vegas no longer holds the monopoly on the Nevada dream. It is smaller, yes. It is undeniably less glitzy, absolutely. But it is also infinitely less predatory, profoundly more balanced, and spiritually connected to the natural world around it. For the weary traveler and the desperate new resident alike, that combination is a desperately needed antidote to the poison of Vegas's ever-escalating costs and its sickeningly sterile corporate polish. So, a word of warning. If you are sick to death of being treated like a walking ATM to be bled dry on the Strip, Reno offers you a different kind of gamble. It's a wager where the odds of discovering true value, a real community, and authentic beauty are terrifyingly higher. But if Reno's story is one of reinvention, and now we plunge into the murky depths of Southern culture, where the siren call of gambling collides with the deceptive allure of the Gulf Coast. Welcome to Biloxi. In number 3, we find Biloxi, a place where a veneer of Southern charm is slapped over the cold, hard casino floor. Don't be fooled by the picture they paint. A sandy beach along the Gulf of Mexico, a supposed escape from the desert's neon glare. You're told to watch shrimp boats drift by and palm trees sway. A carefully crafted illusion. But make no mistake, this isn't some harmless Florida postcard. This is Biloxi, Mississippi, a city that has created a monstrous fusion of cloying hospitality and predatory casino culture, preying on travelers exhausted by Vegas's blatant nickel and diming. Biloxi dangles a treacherous wager, the illusion of affordable fun cloaked in coastal charm. But let's peel back the layers and talk about the real cost. In the gluttonous heart of Las Vegas, a weekend escape will bleed you for well over $1,000. Thanks to their $200 a night rooms, outrageous $50 resort fees, $25 daily parking, and grotesquely overpriced meals. Biloxi's lure? An average hotel rate hovering near $120 a night. And listen to this, many of its properties don't dare to charge a resort fee. The parking is often free, and the dining is presented as refreshingly reasonable. But what are you really paying for? They'll distract you with seafood platters overflowing with oysters and crab for under $25. For unsuspecting retirees and families, this is the very siren song of affordability that the Vegas Beast discarded years ago. But be warned, Biloxi's danger isn't just in its deceptive pricing. It's about the vibe. At least Vegas is honest in its grotesque artificial spectacle, its indoor canals and pathetic Eiffel Tower replicas. Its erupting volcano fountains. Biloxi claims it needs no such gimmicks. It has the Gulf, but step outside a gambling den like the Beau Rivage or the Hard Rock and you're not free. You're just on a different kind of precipice, staring into the abyss. They sell you a fantasy. Lose your money in the morning, then pretend it's a wholesome vacation by fishing off a pier or kayaking in the bay, all while an ominous ocean breeze whispers warnings. Vegas might peddle a fantasy, but Biloxi's natural beauty is a far more insidious lie. Economically, you must understand, Biloxi is playing a desperate game. Its casino industry spawned from a reckless legislative decision in the early 1990s. But don't believe for a second it's safer than Vegas's single industry trap. Yes, tourism is a behemoth, but Biloxi's foundation is a precarious mix of seafood processing, shipbuilding, and the ever-present shadow of military bases like Keesler Air Force. They call this diversity stability. A laughable claim. We all watched Vegas crumble when the pandemic shut down tourism, as the entire city ground to a catastrophic halt. But the arrogance of Biloxi is to claim it can weather storms, both economic and literal, because its bets are spread. And you must hear this. Speaking of storms, we must confront the terrifying reality. Biloxi is built squarely in the path of hurricanes. In 2005, Hurricane Katrina unleashed its apocalyptic fury on the coast, obliterating casinos, homes, and the very infrastructure of society. Out of the rubble, the city was reborn. But this was no triumph. It was a bitter lesson, with a new rule demanding casinos be built on land, a stark admission of the catastrophic gamble they had taken with those floating barges. Today, its skyline glitters with resorts that mimic mid-tier Vegas properties, a spectacle they dare to call resilience born from trauma. It is a monument to their own denial. This is the stark, unavoidable truth. Biloxi's so-called charm is bought with catastrophic risk. Insurance rates are crippling, and the dread of the next storm is a constant seasonal terror. And yet, in a stunning display of denial, many residents and visitors insist this gamble is worth it for a piece of Gulf Coast life. Culturally, the deception continues. Biloxi presents itself as the antithesis of Vegas. In Vegas, the corruption is transparent. The service is brutally transactional. The dealer's smile is a corporate mandate. But in Biloxi, the poison is sweeter. The service feels chillingly personal. Bartenders perform the role of old friends, and locals ensnare tourists with a facade of genuine warmth. Don't be a fool, their southern hospitality isn't a cliche. It's their most dangerous marketing weapon. They throw in seafood festivals, cheap Mardi Gras parades, and a local music scene to complete the illusion, to make you believe this is a community gathering, and not the same soul-crushing corporate machine. But it's the real estate that whispers the most damning part of the story. The median home price in Biloxi lurks around a mere $200,000. Less than half of the Vegas nightmare. You're told renters can still secure apartments for under $1,000 a month. Now dare to compare that with the financial ruin of Vegas, where the very concept of affordability has been annihilated, and locals are being crushed by predatory rents from soulless corporate landlords. They pitch Biloxi to retirees not just as a cheaper vacation, but as a final refuge. A viable place to live, they say, a blend of cheap housing and ocean views. But those views are of a hungry, waiting sea. And believe me, this trap is not for everyone. The pace is stagnant, the nightlife is a pathetic shadow of the Strip, and the summer weather is a suffocating, brutal humidity. If you're seeking the empty glamour of celebrity DJs and mega resorts, you will be sorely disappointed. But if you're desperate enough to mix gambling with cheap seafood and a life lived on a hurricane-ravaged beach for a fraction of Vegas's cost, then Biloxi will make its grim, seductive case. In the end, Biloxi postures as the anti-Vegas, laid back instead of frantic, genuine instead of manufactured. But this is its greatest deception, a quiet, smiling danger that is far more terrifying than the honest monster in the desert. A chilling reminder that not all casino towns need to be such blatant, soul-crushing money traps. Some might even feign the feeling of home. But if Biloxi represents the deceptive southern charm on the casino floor, our next stop is a terrifying look at what happens when that very model is compressed to a smaller, more desperate scale. That's right, we are descending into Tunica. Number 2, Tunica. The tragic story of the tiny town that dared to wage war on Vegas. Drive just 30 miles south of Memphis, Tennessee, and you will plunge into the desolate landscape of Tunica, Mississippi. This was a rural community sold a false prophecy in the 1990s, a fleeting, shimmering mirage that it could become the next Las Vegas. In a sickening flash, Tunica was ripped from being one of America's poorest counties and became a chaotic, booming casino hub built on a foundation of sand. And while it was never destined to dethrone the king, Vegas, today it stands as a grim monument to failure. One of the cheapest, most dangerously accessible gambling destinations in the nation. A siren's call for those who crave the Vegas high without the Vegas price. Let's rip the bandage off this wound. In Las Vegas, weekend hotel rates have exploded to an average of $200 to $220 a night, and that's before they slam you with $50 resort fees and $25 daily parking extortion. But in Tunica, they bait the hook with rooms at resorts like Horseshoe and Gold Strike or Hollywood Casino for a paltry $60 to $80 a night, often with the illusion of free parking and minimal fees. This isn't just cheaper, it's a predatory calculation. For the cost of a single night of punishment on the Strip, you could be ensnared in Tunica for nearly 4 nights. And the deception doesn't end there. The dining is a carefully curated trap of cheap southern staples. Buffets, barbecue joints, and fried catfish platters that rarely exceed $15 to $20, a universe away from Vegas where you'd be lucky to witness a cocktail priced under $20. Tunica also dangles the temptation that Vegas has almost lost: the insidious allure of low-stakes gambling. On the Strip, the table minimums have become monstrous. A $25 per hand blackjack game is now the horrifying new normal. And the roulette wheels are often cursed with a 000, a shameless scheme to stack the odds crushingly in favor of the house. But Tunica's casinos, which feed on middle-class tourists from the South and Midwest, still feature those seductive $5 tables and slightly less impossible odds. It's all designed to make the financial hemorrhaging feel less intimidating, to fool you into thinking you're just stretching a bankroll for a weekend. Economically, Tunica's meteoric rise and catastrophic fall is a chilling cautionary tale. When Mississippi recklessly legalized riverboat gambling in the early 1990s, Tunica didn't just grow, it violently exploded. At its absolute peak, it was the 3rd largest gambling market in America, eclipsed only by the titans of Vegas and Atlantic City. A flood of jobs poured in. Tax revenue was used to construct a paper-thin facade of new schools and infrastructure, and the town was grotesquely transformed. But inevitably, the vultures began to circle. Fierce competition from Arkansas casinos and the rise of online gambling gnawed away at its fragile dominance. Today, the number of casinos has been slashed from a dozen to a meager 6. The market is a shell of its former self, smaller but clinging to a grim stability. Its existence justified only by being more affordable than the corporate behemoths that now rule Las Vegas. What Tunica lacks in glitz, it more than makes up for in frightening accessibility. It lurks just off Interstate 69, a dangerously short drive from Memphis International Airport. It preys on weekenders from all across the South. While Vegas demands a cross-country flight, Tunica is just a desperate road trip away, and that accessibility is a critical part of its danger. It targets retirees and working families, people desperate for a quick escape who can't afford to be bled dry by thousands in airfare and resort fees. But be warned, Tunica has its own profound limitations. Do not come here expecting Cirque du Soleil, celebrity DJs, or Michelin-starred chefs. The entertainment is a sad, down-to-earth spectacle of country concerts, local blues acts, and forgotten regional festivals. The surrounding landscape is a bleak panorama of flat farmland, not a vibrant skyline of neon and mountains. And while they boast of affordability, the town is drowning in poverty just beyond the casino corridor, a stark and horrifying reminder of its broken economic history. The real estate market is a mirror to this desperation. The median home price in Tunica County is under a shocking $150,000. A pittance compared to the more than $430,000 in Las Vegas. Rentals are even cheaper, often falling well below $900 a month. For the locals trapped here, this makes living costs manageable in ways Vegas residents can only have nightmares about. And for retirees or snowbirds, Tunica is pitched as an appealing base, with its low property taxes, its promise of quiet living, and its casinos lurking just minutes away. Yet perhaps Tunica's most insidious lie is its authenticity. Vegas has become a soulless corporate theme park where visitors are herded like cattle through malls, luxury towers, and an endless gauntlet of fees. Tunica, by shocking contrast, feels disturbingly human-scaled. Here you'll find friendly dealers and affordable tables, and a slower pace that echoes the ghost of Vegas's early days. before the mega resorts devoured its soul. It may not wow you with spectacle, but don't be mistaken. It will drain your bank account all the same. Let's be clear, Tunica is a blistering rebuke, a glaring warning that not every casino town must bow to Vegas's predatory high-cost doctrine. It remains smaller, defiantly humble, and still locked in a desperate struggle for its soul in this ruthless industry. But for the savvy traveler, the one who refuses to be fleeced, that humility is its greatest weapon. And if Tunica is the bastion of small-town affordability, then our final destination escalates this battle with a beauty so profound, it's almost terrifying. Because while Vegas frantically erects its hollow plastic pyramids and pathetic canals, Lake Tahoe delivers a crushing verdict. No man-made spectacle can ever hope to challenge the raw power of nature. Coming in at number 1, Lake Tahoe, the jackpot nature itself provides. Picture this. You awaken not to stale casino air, but to the biting purity of the mountains. Your eyes fixed on a lake so pristine it shames the sky, reflecting the jagged Sierra Nevada peaks. Then you step into a lakeside casino where the atmosphere is one of sanctuary, not the ruthless predation of the Strip. This is the reality of Lake Tahoe, perched on the razor's edge of the California-Nevada border. And for the legions of burned-out, disillusioned Vegas victims, this place has become their ultimate refuge. It's a world of high-stakes gaming fused with breathtaking natural grandeur, all without the suffocating grip of corporate greed. But let's cut to the chase. The money. A weekend on the Vegas Strip is a financial ambush. A staggering $200 to $250 a night for a room, before the parasitic resort fees bleed you for another $50, before the $25 a day parking extortion, and before the food bills that mock the prices of Manhattan. Now contrast that with Tahoe. Lodging isn't a giveaway, but it's driven by value, not pure avarice. A respectable room at a lakeside casino resort will run you an average of $150 to $180 per night. But that price often includes the dignity of free parking and fees that aren't designed to break you. Then consider the fact that many Tahoe casinos haven't forgotten how to offer affordable food specials and drink promotions. And the horrifying truth becomes clear. Your dollar has actual power here, unlike in the financial black hole of Las Vegas. But the chasm between these worlds isn't just about money. It's about the very air you breathe. Vegas is a nightmare of engineered chaos, an unrelenting assault of slot machine sirens and the crushing weight of nightclub hordes. It's the soundtrack of desperation, of bachelor parties stumbling through 3 a.m. Lake Tahoe utterly demolishes that script. Yes, the casinos are here, Harrah's, Hard Rock, Bally's, but they exist in harmony with alpine trails, world-class ski slopes, and pristine beaches. Here you can tempt fate at the tables one night and then, the very next morning, glide a kayak across water the color of turquoise. I dare you to find that kind of balance in the concrete jungle of Vegas, where the very concept of outdoors has been perverted into a scorching concrete pool deck demanding a $500 cabana ransom. And Tahoe's climate? It's a strategic masterstroke. Las Vegas suffocates its victims under 110-degree summer heat, forcing them back into the casino cages. Lake Tahoe, in stark, glorious contrast, offers 4 authentic seasons. Winter unleashes world-class skiing at Heavenly and Squaw Valley. Summer delivers a reprieve of mild, perfect temperatures, ideal for conquering hiking trails, commanding the waters by boat, or simply surrendering to the beach. Autumn sets the mountains ablaze with fiery foliage, and spring is a dramatic rebirth of melting snow and defiant wildflowers. Here, visitors aren't prisoners of the climate, hiding from the oppressive heat. They are outside, immersed in life itself. Economically, the divide is just as stark. Vegas is a dangerously fragile tourism monoculture. The moment the conventions falter, the entire city teeters on the brink of collapse. Tahoe, however, has built a resilient economy, weaving tourism with outdoor recreation, a stable second home market, and even a new wave of remote workers who saw the truth during the pandemic and refused to leave. Be warned, housing here is no bargain. The median home price looms at around $700,000 in South Lake Tahoe. But this price is forged by an authentic demand for a superior lifestyle, not the manic speculative frenzy of predatory investors. Now, dare to compare that to the house of cards that is the Vegas housing market, where prices convulse violently at the whim of corporate interests and speculative gambling. Tahoe's market, while expensive, possesses a bedrock of stability, anchored in genuine desirability and the hard limits of nature. You can't just endlessly pave over the sacred desert and erect more soulless structures. The culture here also feels real, not cynically manufactured. Vegas entertainment is a desperate cry for attention, an obsession with empty spectacle. Cirque du Soleil, aging superstars in gilded cages, deafening DJ sets. Tahoe rejects this entirely, opting instead for intimacy, haunting outdoor concerts by the lake, vibrant seasonal festivals, and in the local bars where you might stumble upon a talented band that hasn't yet been corrupted by a $200 ticket price. The dining also offers a desperate echo of its geography. Fresh trout, California wines, and farm-to-table revelations sitting comfortably next to humble diners. The focus is a rebellion against gimmicks, a demand for quality. But let's not be naive. Tahoe has its own set of harsh realities. It is a fortress, far harder to access than the easy trap of Vegas. You must conquer a flight into Reno followed by an hour-long drive, or endure the pilgrimage from Sacramento or San Francisco. Its winters are brutal, unleashing heavy snows that can seal off the roads entirely. And its affordability is a complex illusion. While it spares you the nickel and dime torment of Vegas, Tahoe remains a far more expensive proposition than the humble sanctuaries of Laughlin or Tunica. It isn't fighting to be the champion of budgets. It is the undisputed champion of lifestyle, and that is a critical distinction. Make no mistake, Lake Tahoe has no ambition to be some pale imitation of Vegas. It offers something the desert metropolis is fundamentally incapable of replicating: a profound, unbreakable union of raw natural beauty and genuine entertainment. No one escapes Tahoe haunted by the money they've burned. They leave with the staggering memory of what it feels like to be truly alive. Standing at Emerald Bay as the sun breaks, with chips still in your pocket, and the sheer power of the mountains behind you. So listen up. If you're sick of the Vegas deception, Tahoe is the brutal, honest truth that the greatest wins in life are never found on their rigged casino floors. They're discovered out in the real world, far beyond the reach of their predatory resort fees. So let this sink in. We've exposed 6 destinations that utterly demolish the lie that you need their suffocating strip for a thrill, for genuine culture, or for any real value. We're talking about Laughlin's defiant, old-school Nevada spirit, Kansas City's raw, authentic soul and barbecue, Reno's shocking rebirth, Biloxi's untamed Gulf Coast allure, Tunica's undeniable small-town grit, or Tahoe's awe-inspiring majesty. Every single one offers something Las Vegas has deliberately purged from its system: authenticity and a fair price. If you've managed to break free from the Vegas machine for one of these places, you must tell us your story. Expose the truth in the comments. And if this has been the wake-up call you needed, then you'd better hit subscribe, because in this rigged game, the only real jackpot is arming yourself with the truth.